This week's video is sponsored by Canva.
Well, hello everybody. Hope everybody's doing great. Check out this old oak. That's one impressive looking specimen. Now then, you're probably wondering where I am. Well, I've come out to Scotland. Originally I had a workshop planned here with Alister Benn, and through a number of circumstances the workshop ended up getting cancelled. And originally I was just going to cancel my flight, and then I thought, well, perhaps I should just go out anyway and visit some of the areas that I've been longing to visit for quite some time now. So I hopped on the plane, and I've met up with my friend Paul Thomson, who some of you may know. If you don't know him, go and check his channel out. And luckily Paul has a camper van, so we're going to be traveling around in his camper van around Scotland for the next probably week or so. And then I'm meeting up with Thomas Heaton. Tom's coming to meet us at some point. And then I'm meeting up with Alister for a trip over to the Isle of Harris. And then hopefully meeting up with Paul again, and we're going to continue our trip around parts of Scotland. And we've come across this just wonderful oak, just on this, not too far from the main highway. Actually, we went to photograph something else down by one of these locks here, and Paul noticed there was some nice old oaks up in the hill here, so we just kind of took a little bit of a walk, and we came across this beautiful specimen here. So one of the great things about this for me is that even though we have oaks on Vancouver Island, they're Garry oaks, they're not quite as gnarly as these trees. This one seems to have a lot more moss on it than we get on Vancouver Island, so that's really nice. It has a lot of boulders around it. There's some big boulders in front of me and then around the bottom of the tree, and it almost looks like at some point here there was perhaps a structure of some sort or a wall. But it's just a beautiful, beautiful oak, and of course with the bracken ferns around it in autumn colour, I mean, it's just perfect. Now, I've been told that autumn colour was very late this year, which is a great thing for me, because right now the autumn colour is just beautiful, and we're into just at the beginning of November, which is very late. Now then, as far as composition goes, it's a little bit difficult to photograph because there's a huge patch of white sky over here, and also there's this somewhat annoying branch in front of me, but the rest of it is just fantastic, with a sweeping branch on the right here, and then this branch going out to the left, and then of course all these beautiful mossy boulders. So I've ended up again taking a pano 65 by 24 just to include more or less the bottom section of this tree. I must admit I am flagging a little bit. It's funny, yesterday when we got in the car driving down these windy roads, and I started to feel a bit queasy because we don't really have windy roads in Canada. Everything's just straight and wide. And then I started feeling sleepy, so I had a bit of a nap, and then we finally pulled over. And do you think I could sleep? I couldn't sleep at all. And of course now I'm dying. But I found a composition that I think is going to work. There's this massive branch that's just kind of hanging there, and actually as I look up here, it's not even attached, it's just kind of sitting in between two, like a notch between two branches there. So it's just kind of hanging there. But I quite like it as a foreground element. And then we have the oaks in the background, and then of course the bracken in the middle there with that lovely color. Now right now the light is a little bit harsh because the sun keeps coming out, which is quite nice actually, because it was just pouring rain earlier. But as the sun subdues, then it just evens out the light a little bit. It's just easier to deal with. And then of course I have there's a bit of a hillside in the back there with some silver birch and such. So there is a lot going in the frame, but I think that this in the foreground somewhat holds it together. Yeah, it's kind of a neat composition. I'll show you quickly on the back of my camera here. Right, so I'm hoping this works. I mean, I always say this in pretty much every video. It looks great on the back of the camera, but of course, I can't really tell until I get back, until I put it on a bigger screen and look at it through Lightroom or Photoshop. But as you can see, I have this foreground element here. So it kind of, to my eye, tells a bit of a story. And I've tried to arrange it so that I'm not blocking off too many of these trees in the background. The only thing I'm not sure about is it intersecting with, let's see if I can, this top tree here. So I might move over to the left a bit. There is a tree behind this branch, and maybe just block off this tree behind this, so that gives me more space at the top here between those oaks in the background and this foreground branch. But overall, I quite like it. I like the other branch lying down on the ferns there. Yeah, so it's quite a neat scene, and it has some foreground interest, and then kind of goes beyond into the woodland in the background. I've said this before a number of times with woodland photography. For me, I just find it easier if you don't really look at specific trees as individual trees themselves, but look at them as shapes and how they interact with one another in the background and the foreground. And, don't forget to look all around the outside of your frame as well to see if there's anything poking in or poking out that's going to be a distraction. Ideally, you want everything to kind of be cohesive and add to the composition, not take things away from it.
Big thank you goes out to this week's sponsor, Canva. So you may be wondering, what is Canva? Well, Canva is an easy-to-use design platform that offers a plethora of ready-made designs for all of your social media needs, presentations, videos, and so much, much more. The great thing is that with Canva, you'll be up and running in minutes. My own experience with Canva is a good example of how easy it is to design professional presentations with just a few clicks and Canva's simple drag and drop templates. As an example, I recently wanted to design an eye-catching story for Instagram. For this design, I simply uploaded a 15-second video clip, chose the Instagram story template, picked a background color, put in a few graphics of ferns, and placed the video into the template. Lastly, I added some quick text using any one of the numerous text options, and all of this within just a matter of minutes. Staying organized is very easy to do, as everything is laid out in a well-organized format. Want to save time in scheduling your social media posts? No problem, just use the content planner. Canva also gives you 100 gigabytes of storage that is ample for unlimited folders and will help you to keep track of and never misplace any design that you've made. For just $12.95 per month, you'll be able to team up with 4 friends or colleagues that will all be able to unlock any of the features that Canva offers. including stock footage, graphics, endless fonts, pre-licensed sound and music tracks, photos, and much, much more. Interested? For a free 45-day trial, head on over to canva.me/Adam Gibbs.
Right, we've been fighting the weather a little bit, which is to be expected. November in Scotland. Oh, just going through a tunnel here. It's somewhat stopped raining for about 5 minutes, so thought we'd better get out of the van and see, at least have a look at this area. We're in an area where there's some a good section of Scots pine, so we're just going to go and have a quick look. The light is not terribly exciting right now, and I'm guessing probably in an hour or so it's going to start getting dark, so I think this might be an area that we'll have to photograph tomorrow. But I've got all my camera gear, and it's all about scoping this area out and seeing what we can find. When in Scotland, what do you do when it's cold out, Paul?
Have a drink.
Get the old hip flask out. We've got a bit of, got to try and open this, hang on a minute. A bit of Deanston's single malt in here.
Actually warm the cockles somewhat.
Oh, there you go.
Cheers, mate.
Get that down, yeah. Hope you don't have any kind of cooties or anything.
Not last time I checked. Warms you up, that. No end.
What was the one you had the other day, last night?
Oh, what is it called? Can't remember now. I have to double check when we get back. I can't remember the name of it, but it's nice.
We had some single malt last night, and it had a very peaty. It's quite nice, actually.
Yeah.
Wasn't too strong, was it?
No, it's only a 3-year.
3-year, and it was quite smooth.
Yeah.
What do you think of this one?
That's nice.
It's not bad, is it?
It's not overly harsh. Like some of them can be a bit harsh.
Tastes kind of alcohol-y. Some.
Yeah. But that's not bad at all. It's quite warming.
Warming. So we're just waiting for the weather, and of course it's slowly getting darker and darker.
Yeah.
It is clearing up behind us, but this forest is beautiful, but it definitely needs some light. Because what I'm finding is that the trees just kind of blend in with one another, so there's no definition except for the odd one that sticks up. But yeah, and seeing as this is the first time we've been here, it's it's not easy finding composition. So
it's quite close together as well, and it's quite tight in here.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot to separate anything.
Anyway, that's what we're doing right now. Just standing there drinking and waiting for the light, as always. Right, once again we've been defeated by the weather. Actually on this trail we found some really great scenes. There's this scene here, which I did take a couple of pictures of, just in case. Just some lovely textures in here, and also limbs kind of twisted and ancient looking. And then we've got the heather, and there's a bit of fall colour in here that's nice. And then behind me there's this beautifully shaped pine with the bracken at the bottom, and then behind it there's some birch that are still in autumn colour, and we got the shadow of the mountain in the background too, so that's a really nice background. So you can kind of isolate certain sections of the tree, but the light is just terrible right now. It's windy, dark, and the rain's starting, so I think we're going to retreat back to the van and try and find a place to camp that's close by, and hopefully tomorrow morning come back up here and give this another shot. Excuse me if I've got chocolate in my teeth, I'm eating a granola bar. All right, back to the van we go.
So Paul, what are we having for dinner tonight?
Sausage and veg.
sausage and veg.
Sausage veggie noodles.
I seem to have sausage and veg for dinner every time we go camping. It's my staple diet.
Yeah, sausage veg thing with noodles.
So we got 2 different types of sausages. We got chicken sausages and beef.
Yep. Steak sausages.
What's the difference between beef and steak?
That's what they call them, steak.
Steak sausages. So
Yep.
basically lips and assholes. And then broccoli, cauliflower, and we found these in the UK. Have you had these in the UK before?
Yeah.
Shin noodles. That's where our universes. I got to edit that because you bent over and your ass crack was showing.
Oh, was it? Oh, great. There we go.
Our universes are colliding. Shin noodles.
There it goes.
Must be a universally accepted food.
Lovely.
And some beer that. What's this called?
Piston head.
Piston Head beer. It's kind of a amber ale. It's kind of hoppy. It's not bad. Paul really likes it. So, you know, I've got to humour him.
We'll start on the whiskey soon. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll get into the whiskey in a minute. Ooh, wow, good morning everybody. It's a bit chilly this morning. I think I'm just being a bit of a wimp. I think it's the wind that it's not so much the temperature, just a constant wind that kind of chills you. So this morning we're at a place called Loch Marie, and we're just on the shoreline here. And as you can see, the water levels are pretty high right now. It kind of reminds me of Abraham Lake last year with the autumn colour. Except Loch Marie, I don't think is dammed, is it? No. I think Loch Marie is one of the only freshwater lochs that isn't actually dammed. So there's a lot of water in here, and of course we're getting these beautiful trees surrounded by water and exposed roots and such. So what I'm doing is just walking along the shoreline here, taking photographs of the roots and a little bit of autumn colour. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, one of the problems that I am having here is, because it's quite windy, trying to smooth out the water a little bit with an ND filter. Of course, you're going to have a long shutter speed, and of course anything else that's moving, including leaves, is going to be blurry. So that is a bit of an issue. I'm not sure if I'll take multiple exposures and try to blend them, because it is a bit of a pain. But I guess ultimately, if I want to have sharp leaves with the blurry water, then I'm going to have to do that. But I guess what I'll do is I'll take some, just in case, some at a faster shutter speed, and if I can, I'll try and paint in those sharper leaves. The issue is, or the problem is that when you have blurry water behind sharp leaves, it's quite hard to blend in. So I don't know, we'll see what we can do. But it's absolutely fantastic. And now I see that we have a little bit of light. So that's nice, because it's been pretty much raining since I got here. So yeah, it's all the ingredients for some great photography this morning. So I absolutely love this type of photography, where it's quite funny because, you know, we're surrounded by beautiful mountains that have fresh snow on them. And what am I photographing but roots of trees in water? So it's just the type of thing that I'm interested in. You can more or less see the angle that I'm shooting for here. We have this wonderful tree on the left that has a slight bend in it, and also the 3 or 4 trees that are coming from one stem in the background there. And what I really love about this shot, or this scene, is the the roots down in the water here. So what I've tried to do is get an angle so that I'm looking down on them and not looking across. So I don't have any of the mountains or the shoreline in the background. I just have water and the trees and the roots. And of course, with the slow shutter speed, you have that sharp, crisp roots set against the blurry water. So it has a really great contrast between the two. I just really love this stuff, and I think this composition is probably my favorite out of the three that I've taken so far. There's one more over there that has some autumn color involved, but unfortunately the leaves are going to be moving quite a bit, so they're going to be quite blurry, but it might be a neat effect. So I'm going to give it a try anyway, but yeah, I'm probably going to spend quite some time here because I think there's a lot of potential.
If you made it this far into the video, thank you ever so much for watching, and be sure to tune in for next week's video when we continue our journey around the northwest coast of Scotland. Until then, thanks ever so much. Bye-bye.